13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
Our warm stretch of weather continues for the next couple of days, but then the cold front to our north will change things up a bit as we head into the weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
We now have answers in a homicide case in Macon, what investigators say led to one woman's death, and how one of the men charged knew her.
Plus, Georgia marks Ahmaud Arbery Day today following his killing 2 years ago. What the state encourages people to do to remember his life.
A few years ago, two organizations created the Mill Hill Project to redevelop an East Macon neighborhood into an artist village. I'm going to tell you how far it's come in just a few minutes.
Well, good Wednesday morning. You're taking a live look over a beautiful downtown Macon. The time is now 6:31 a.m. Give yourself a pat on the back, Central Georgia. You made it halfway through the work week on this February the 23rd. I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Heck. And if you are heading out the door today, just know you don't need that big old thick winter coat this morning, Wanye.
It's nice and comfortable. It was nice for a change to, get out, not have to worry about the cold. I still cut the heat on because I like to be warm.
Yes.
But nonetheless, Courtney, a beautiful morning.
That's right, Wanya, you and I were on the same page with that. I looked at my temperature of my car. It said 61 outside, and I was like, yep, seat heater still going on. It's just nice to be nice and toasty. I mean, yes. I don't keep it on the whole ride, but just to warm me up as I get ready to head out the door. Because sometimes the coffee just doesn't fully get through your system to warm you up all the way as you make your way out and about. But you'll definitely need a cup of coffee this morning. I feel like that always helps get you out the door. 56 right now in the city of Macon. Yes, mild out there. Check out the dew point in the mid-50s as well. So the air not completely dry. The closer you get to 60, the more slightly muggy it starts to feel. Of course, 70 is considered that soupy feel. We're not close to that, thankfully. 55 in Warner Robins, 59 in Cochrane. We're at 58 in Montezuma and in Gordon, and 57 in Milledgeville. We do have some fog forming, especially along 75. Some dense fog in parts of Peach and southern Houston County this morning, so just be sure you're driving extra carefully. And we're waiting on this front. In the meantime, we're going to be warm, 80s for a couple more days. We'll talk about the rain chance this could bring and the cooler air behind it. All of that is in a few minutes.
Thank you, Courtney. This morning, a man is in jail facing a murder charge in connection to his ex-girlfriend's death.
It deals with a case from early Monday morning. That's when the father of 49-year-old Cynthia Berry found her dead inside her northwest Macon home. It was at a home on Winchester Place in the Barrington Hall subdivision. The Bibb Sheriff's Office says someone strangled Berry. Now, investigators arrested two people in connection to the case. That includes Berry's ex-boyfriend, Joey Fournier. Investigators found that he was at Berry's home the night of her death. He called for a ride and left. He is now charged with murder. The
Bibb County Sheriff's Office says Joey was uncooperative during the booking process, so they couldn't get his mugshot. His brother Jeffrey is also in jail charged with hindering apprehension.
Well, Bibb County records show that 5 months before Berry's death, she told a judge that her ex-boyfriend, Joey Fournier, choked her, grabbed her arm, and threatened to break it.
Last year, Berry fought for a protective order against him, and a judge issued one for 12 months. So this morning, we're taking a closer look at protective orders and tools survivors can use to stay safe from abuse.
We spoke to the Deputy Director of Crisis Line and Safe House, Jamie Borman. The nonprofit supports victims of family violence and sexual assault.
Someone who's been a victim of domestic violence, this is not their fault. They didn't choose to be abused. They didn't choose to be in the situation.
Cynthia Berry's daughter, Brianna, told us on Monday that her mother lived alone after moving out of her Candlewick court home less than a year ago. Borman says moving is just one tool survivors can use to escape their abuser, but it often takes a combination of steps to get them to safety.
A protective order is another one. That's what Berry got against her ex-boyfriend. Borman says it's important to know protective orders can be effective, but people will not always follow them, and no domestic violence case is the same.
It may be that it's a combination of things. It may be that it is the protective order and safe shelter, or that it's the protective order and getting access to transportation assistance to leave town. It may not be a protective order at all.
And Borman says that there are 3 protective orders, one for family violence, one for dating violence, and one for stalking. They have provisions in them like requiring a person to stay 150 yards away from the victim and banning communication.
Now, if you are or someone you know is dealing with domestic violence, the Crisis Line and Safe House has a 24-hour hotline. The phone number is 478-745-9292. Again, 478-745-9292. Now to 3 other headlines we are following this morning. A Bibb County mother and her boyfriend face murder charges in connection to the death of her 6-month-old son. The Sheriff's Office says an investigation began February the 6th. That's when staff at Atrium Health Navicent contacted DFACS about a baby with internal injuries. 6-month-old Major Williams went to an Atlanta hospital and died a few days later. An autopsy says the child appeared to die from injuries caused by abusive head trauma. 29-year-old Amanda Halsey and 22-year-old Tarek Dixon both face murder charges and unrelated charges of probation violation.
The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says they arrested one of the men connected to a shooting from 2 weeks ago. That's when an undercover deputy was doing a neighborhood check around Rogers Place. The Sheriff's Office says he saw a car with 4 men wearing ski masks speeding down the road. The deputy followed the car. The Sheriff's Office says it later stopped and 4 men got out and started shooting at the deputy. He took cover and he was not hurt. Bibb County deputies arrested 22-year-old Cameron Braxton in connection to the shooting. He's charged with aggravated assault on a peace officer. The GBI now leading an investigation out of Perry after deputies shot and killed an armed man during a crisis. Perry police say they got a call to a home on Bedford Court just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon about a suicidal person with a gun. The department says officers tried to convince 32-year-old Matthew Deese to lay down his gun. When he refused, Perry police called the Houston County Sheriff's Office response team to help out. A Houston County negotiator continued to talk to Deese. Then just before 7, deputies shot Deese in the front yard of his home. An ambulance took him to a local hospital where he died. Perry police requested the GBI to do an independent investigation.
Well, today marks the 2-year anniversary of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Now, Georgia will remember his life with the first Ahmaud Arbery Day. On February 23, 2020, Arbery was shot and killed as he jogged in a Brunswick area neighborhood. Last fall, a jury convicted 3 men of murdering him. And yesterday, they were also convicted of federal hate crimes. Jurors found that father and son Gregory and Travis McMichael, along with William Roddy Bryan, violated Arbery's civil rights and targeted him because he was black. We do not yet know when a judge will sentence them. All 3 are already serving life sentences, with Bryan having the possibility of parole in 30 years. Today, on Arbery Day, Georgians are encouraged to run 2.23 miles in his memory. Parts of the Peach State will soon get improvements to their water and sewer systems. Governor Brian Kemp is awarding over $422 million from federal COVID-19 relief funds to more than 100 projects in rural Georgia. That includes several spots here in central Georgia. Tennille in Washington County is getting nearly $12 million. The city of Warner Robins getting $11 million. Cordele, Twiggs County, and Wrightsville are also receiving money.
A bill related to parents' rights in K-12 schools now moves to the Georgia House for more debate. This comes after state senators passed it on yesterday. It's important to note that Governor Brian Kemp backs the measure that says parents have the right to review all classroom materials, the right to access all records relating to their child, and the right to opt out their child of all sexual education. It also says parents can say no to any photos, videos, and voice recordings of their child except for security purposes. It's important to also note that many of these rights already exist. Democrats warn that the law will allow a few unsatisfied parents to bog down schools with burdensome demands. Masks will soon be optional for students, staff, and visitors inside Bibb County schools. Superintendent Curtis Jones announced yesterday that the updated policy would start on March the 1st.
That is next Tuesday. Students and staff will still need to wear masks on buses because of federal guidelines. All right, the time is now 6:38 for all those kids headed out to the bus stop this morning. Courtney, not a bad morning at all for them.
That's right. Yeah, finally not having to bundle up and probably shiver while you wait for the bus. It's actually pretty mild out there for the start of the morning, and a beautiful sunrise to pair along with it. Wanye, we predicted it right. It's a really beautiful sunrise this morning. Yes, the DUV always shows out when the sunrise comes up. It's really a beautiful morning there in the city of Dublin. Good morning to all of you waking up with us in the Emerald City. And you can see some cloud cover off in the distance there. Even if you look extra carefully, you can see right here almost a different color. It's kind of a lighter gray. That's some fog that's forming over the Oconee River. And we do have some fog out there this morning. I'll show you where in just a second. 55 in the city of Dublin, a very mild morning. We're all somewhere generally in the mid-50s for the start of the day. We do have some dense fog in parts of Peach and Houston County, so along 75, if you're traveling along 75 between Bibb and Houston this morning, just keep in mind you might run into some fog. And then down in Telfair County, we have about a mile of visibility this morning. So for the most part, everyone's in the clear, not going to cause you any problems, but we do have some patchy, dense fog out there, just something to keep in mind. As we go through the day today, will be beautiful. We'll see partly sunny skies. Temperatures by 9 a.m. will be in the low 60s. To put this in perspective, our afternoon high temperatures should be somewhere in the mid 60s. So we're going to get close to that before even lunchtime today. And then by noon, temperatures will be in the mid-70s, maybe a stray shower if you're north of Macon today, and then we'll top out in the low 80s. Notice if we do manage to make it to 81 degrees today in Macon, that is going to tie a record of 81 set back in 1980. Now we do have a cold front on the way, and I think looking at this map, you can tell exactly where it is. The cold front lying right here along the Tennessee area over towards Lexington, Kentucky, Jackson, Mississippi, and take a look at how cold the air is behind it. Boy, is that dismal. -4 in Denver, -6 in Cheyenne. It is mornings like these, y'all, where I am glad to live in the southeast. That is all I have to say. And across the eastern seaboard, really a nice and mild morning, including here in central Georgia. We're at 56 in the city of Macon. Now, as we go through the day today, we're waiting for this front. We're going to be warm out ahead of it. But you can see a couple of showers trying to move out ahead of this front, and that's what we're going to experience over the next couple of days. The front will continue to sink south through the day today, offer us maybe a stray shower. Again, we'll mainly be looking north of Macon. It'll settle itself just in some of our northern counties tomorrow, and so we'll be slightly unsettled tomorrow. Just a few quick light showers. That's going to do it. I wouldn't even think to pack the umbrella. I don't think you're going to need it. It's really just going to be warm. Most of us will be dry. We'll finally get the tail end of this weather system as we head into Friday. That's going to offer us a few light showers. Thankfully, no severe weather. Thankfully, no flooding concerns with this, and then we'll gradually cool through the weekend. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. Low 80s today and tomorrow with that chance for maybe just a couple of light showers, and then we'll cool down through the weekend. Low 70s for Saturday, low 60s for Sunday. That's also when we'll bring back a rain chance. Sunday and Monday will be dry with temperatures in the mid-60s as we kick off March.
This week's My Teacher's Tops winner may not be your traditional teacher, but he's always had a passion for molding young minds. The big surprise is coming up next.